Throughout Dragon Ball, Goku meets and overcomes many challenges. There's no denying that he is immensely powerful, but there's more to Goku than just power. In Chapter 1, we discussed Goku's willingness to leave his comfort zone as the reason he's able to accomplish great things. But what else does Goku rely on when times are hard and life is unfair, when there is no physical enemy to vanquish? Perhaps more notable than Nyoibo or his Kamehameha, Goku possesses the ability to embrace his authenticity, his weirdness, and he chooses to smile even in the face of adversity. Now, we may not all be able to do this as easily as Goku, but it is possible. Believe it or not, it's a skill, and like all skills, it is something you can learn. It just requires patience and consistency, much like anything else in life. In Dragon Ball Chapter 2, to help us get to know Goku and Bulma better, Akira Toriyama presents some vital information about our heroes against the backdrop of a ton of comedy. Overall, this chapter is pretty unhinged, with a notorious ending, but we'll get into that later. For now, we follow Goku and Bulma as they continue to cover ground in search of the remaining 4 Dragon Balls. A feat that Goku considers all too easy, but Bulma is quick to remind him that the world far exceeds his isolated perspective. As the night creeps in, Goku and Bulma pause their quest to make camp. Goku, being the mountain child that he is, underestimates the situation, thinking camp means bunking outdoors. But Bulma isn't having any of that, city girl that she is. With the Hoi Poi capsule, Bulma manifests a house equipped with every comfort, and naturally Goku's mind is blown, causing him to once again question if Bulma is a girl or a witch. With great suspicion, Goku enters the capsule house, his ignorance on full display. He has no knowledge of electricity, television, or even the concept of bathing. Up to this point, we've come to know Bulma as a selfish and superficial genius, but here we see another side of her. She's surprisingly nurturing. Bulma decides to give Goku a bath and acclimate him to domesticity, and Goku in turn gives her quite a shock and sends her into an anatomical crisis when she learns that his tail is real. Bulma's disbelief helps us to understand what passes for strange in Dragon Ball. It isn't the mythical balls, the objects that spring out of capsules, or the talking animals. No, it's the fact that people shouldn't have tails. As Goku and Bulma discuss who should and shouldn't have tails, Bulma calls Goku weird and tells him that he isn't normal. To which Goku simply replies, "Oh well, who cares?" Goku doesn't care what anyone thinks about him. Be yourself and stop caring what other people think of you is admirable advice. But how can you ever hope to accomplish these things in a world that is so skeptical of outliers, of anyone who goes against the grain? Being an outlier means you run the risk of being rejected. And when we are rejected, it can feel destabilizing, like a threat to our very safety. Remember when Goku was killing tigers and bears in Chapter 1? Well, our brains are primitively wired to avoid such danger. While these kinds of threats are hardly, if ever, relevant to our present-day experience, we've traded tigers and bears for other things like the fear of failure and the fear of rejection. Rejection and being misunderstood make us feel unsafe because our brains equate community with safety, and it just feels good to be accepted and included and know you're not alone. So with the possibility of rejection looming over you, it may seem easier to betray yourself. This usually takes the form of diluting yourself or downright shape-shifting in order to fit in. And sometimes it works. You find yourself in the places and with the people you desire, but after a while, a hollow feeling takes root, and the ick of being a fraud inevitably sinks its teeth into you. Goku wasn't raised around other people besides his grandfather, so he didn't suffer the kind of conditioning that can plague you and me. So what can we learn from him about embracing our authenticity? We'll start with 2 things. 1. Confidence. Confidence isn't about bravado or based on the things we typically associate with confidence, like possessions and achievements. Goku thinks finding the remaining Dragon Balls will be a snap. Even though he's ignorant of the world at large, he doesn't let potential challenges, a reality Bulma is all too keen to bring up, deter him. In this instance, Goku embodies true confidence, which is rooted in the ability to do challenging and uncomfortable things. Of course, finding the Dragon Balls won't be easy, but Goku's determined to do it anyway. You don't need to be confident to do hard things. But doing hard things will make you confident. Both Goku and Bulma display confidence in their decision to accept the hard task of hunting the Dragon Balls. But whose mindset do you think will make the process easier and more enjoyable? The inconvenienced realist or the welcoming optimist? Goku's cheerful disposition at least won't make a hard situation worse, which leads me to the second thing that Goku teaches us: acceptance. Bulma asks Goku about his parents. So far, all we know of is his grandfather. Smiling, Goku theorizes that his parents must have abandoned him, which led to his grandfather finding and adopting him. Stunned by his sunny demeanor, Bulma asks, "How can you laugh about that?" Goku has mastered accepting the things that he can't control, rather than letting them dictate his thoughts, mood, and actions. In real life, this is rarely something one accomplishes cold turkey. You and I often have to confront situations we struggle to let go of and let them go again and again. It can be arduous and painful work, not exactly the sort of thing you smile about, but it is necessary in order to be free of the things that ensnare us. When you release what you cannot control, you remove the spotlight you've placed on those things and can redirect that light onto what is in your control. And that light illuminates you too. One day, the sadness isn't as suffocating and you smile again. You revisit the wonderful things that you promised yourself you would accomplish. Step by step, you discard the inauthentic and become your true self, and grow more confident in the process. However, as great as embracing yourself and overcoming challenges is, not even Goku has perfected it. Despite his fortitude and fine example, the thing that stands out the most to me in Chapter 2 is Goku's loneliness. He adjusts to living with Bulma with surprising ease, again offering to feed her and desiring her companionship as memories of his grandfather rise to the surface. But Bulma rejects Goku's wolf and centipede dinner offering and understandably gives him a hard no on sharing a bed together. In a world as fantastic as Dragon Ball and with a protagonist like Goku with a reputation for being obscenely strong, seeing him display clear signs of loneliness grounds him in the real world and gives him something that you and I can relate to. But these sentimental elements are short-lived. Accepting rejection, Goku sleeps on the floor, and when the morning comes, his loneliness gets the better of him. He climbs into Bulma's bed and uses her like a pillow, reminiscent of the way he'd fall asleep along with his grandfather. Noticing that Bulma doesn't quite feel like his grandfather, innocent mountain child Goku is curious as to why. Since Goku's never met another human before, let alone a girl, he doesn't understand things like privacy and personal space. As a result, he learns that while there are Dragon Balls and other kinds of balls, girls have
no balls.
The realization that girls are built different shocks Goku about as much as the realness of his tale surprised Bulma. But all jokes aside, if Goku's willingness is the seed of his grand accomplishments, then embracing his authenticity is the sunlight and water. We cannot flourish until we embrace who we are. Anything else is just playing pretend. You owe it to yourself to be who you were born to be. In all of anime, there is not one other character who is quite like Goku. And there is no one like you either.